If you're watching this channel regularly, then you know how often we talk about mycoprotein and its role as the future of protein production. And if you're not watching this channel regularly, then we are going to be talking about mycoprotein a whole bunch from now on because it really is the future of protein. In today's video, we're taking a look at one of my absolute favorite products that contains mycoprotein, Quorn. You may have already heard of Quorn, or maybe you haven't. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you all about this wonderful product that contains mycoprotein and has been around for over 35 years. For those of you who don't know what mycoprotein is, we've got some great videos available right now on our channel where we dive into that topic. But mycoprotein is basically protein extracted from fungi. It has a fairly similar amino acid profile to lean beef, much better than most other plant-based proteins, and it's made in a way that is very sustainable and uses significantly fewer resources than animal agriculture or even most plant agriculture. One of the biggest issues with plant-based proteins is that they usually have lower protein digestibility corrected amino acid scores. This means that their amino acid profile isn't as good as animal proteins like beef or chicken or pork. One way to get around this is by combining different plants together to make sure that you get all the essential amino acids. And companies have also been working on ways to modify these plants to be more nutritionally complete. But another way to do this is just to use fungi. Fungi have a very similar amino acid profile to animal meats and can therefore provide a very nutritionally complete meal option. But there's more to mycoprotein than just its amino acid profile. For one, it's very versatile, meaning it can be used to replace many types of meat, including ground beef, chicken, and pork. It can also be turned into different textures, anything from a ground texture to something more like a crab cake. So with mycoprotein, it's possible to replace almost any dish that uses animal meat with a meatless version. Mycoprotein also doesn't contain cholesterol and has significantly less saturated fat than animal meats, making it a heart-healthy option. In addition, animals raised for food typically emit greenhouse gases such as methane and nitrous oxide. Because mycoprotein is made without animals, it has a much smaller carbon footprint and uses significantly less energy, water, and land. The United Nations estimates that to produce 1 kilo of mycoprotein takes only 1/3 of the water needed for 1 kilo of beef. It also takes up 90% less space, produces 87% less CO2, and produces no methane at all. With the global population expected to hit 9.7 billion by 2050, we'll need new ways to feed everyone, and mycoprotein could be part of the solution. So now that we know a little bit about mycoprotein, let's take a look at what exactly Quorn is. Quorn is a brand of meat substitute made out of mycoprotein and was first introduced in the UK in 1985. Today, Quorn is owned by Monde Nissin, a Filipino food manufacturing company which bought Quorn in 2015 for £333 million. Over the last 35 years, Quorn has become one of the best-known brands of meat substitutes and has expanded to include a wide variety of products, everything from sausages and burgers to vegetarian and vegan options. In 2021, Quorn announced that it would stop using palm oil in its products and committed to sourcing 100% of its mycoprotein from certified sustainable sources. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Quorn chicken-style fillets, and we'll be trying them out in a few different recipes to see how they turn out. These fillets can be used as a replacement for chicken breasts and are apparently so good that omnivores won't be able to tell the difference between these and real chicken. So I guess we'll have to try them out and see if that's true. As always, I like to start off by taking a look at the ingredients. And this time, like with all of the ingredients, they're pretty simple. We've got mycoprotein, tap water, sunflower oil, salt, wheat gluten, flavorings, and nutritional yeast. Now, I don't love wheat gluten, but I don't hate it either. I think it's fine in small doses, but too much of it, and I don't feel very good. However, I don't think it's going to be a problem here since this is mostly made of mycoprotein. And I know a lot of people are concerned about eating wheat gluten. if they have celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. But since this is being marketed as a meat alternative, it's not really intended for people who avoid gluten, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Also, as always, please make sure to read the ingredients for yourself and avoid this product if you have a food allergy. Next, let's take a look at the nutrition label. And this is actually pretty impressive. This has 14 grams of protein per serving and only 2 grams of carbohydrates and 2 grams of fiber. That gives us a net carb of 12 grams, which is actually pretty low. It also has a whopping 20 grams of fiber, which is amazing. If you're not familiar with fiber, it's basically the part of the plant that your body can't digest. However, our gut bacteria really love fiber, and it helps keep things moving down under. Fiber can come from a variety of sources, and this product uses both insoluble and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber adds bulk to your stool and helps it pass through your digestive system more easily. Soluble fiber, on the other hand, dissolves in water and can help regulate your blood sugar levels and reduce your cholesterol. So overall, 20 grams of fiber is amazing and will definitely keep your gut happy. It also has 290 milliliters of potassium, which is more than 8% of the recommended daily intake. Potassium is an essential nutrient that helps regulate your heartbeat, controls blood pressure, and balances out sodium. So if you're looking for a way to increase your potassium intake, these might be a good option. They also only have 190 calories, which is pretty good considering that they have 14 grams of protein. That means that each gram of protein only costs 13.6 calories, which is about average when compared to other plant proteins. However, it's much better than most animal proteins, which usually cost at least twice as many calories per gram. Now, let's give these a try. I'm going to be making a few different dishes using these chicken-style fillets, and we'll see how they turn out. First up, I'm going to be making a chicken stir-fry. To do this, I'm going to cut the fillets into thin strips and then add them to a pan on medium heat. I'm also going to add a tablespoon of olive oil to prevent sticking. Next, I'm going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce and a teaspoon of garlic. Then I'm just going to fry this until the chicken is browned on both sides. After a few minutes, I'm going to add a cup of frozen peas and carrots, and then I'm going to pour in a cup of chicken broth. Once the liquid has thickened, I'm going to serve it over a nice bed of white rice. Let's give this a try. Okay, so this is the finished dish, and I've got to say it looks pretty good. I'm going to cut off a bite and try it out. Okay, wow, this is actually really good. I can barely tell the difference between this and real chicken. It's got a really nice chewy texture and the flavors are spot on. It also doesn't have that weird meatiest taste that some of these meat substitutes have. Overall, I'd say this is a big win for Quorn. Next up, I'm going to be making a chicken salad sandwich. To do this, I'm going to chop up the fillets into small pieces and then add them to a bowl. Next, I'm going to add in a cup of celery, a serrano pepper for heat, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Finally, I'm going to mix it all together and then spread it on a piece of bread. Let's give this a try. Okay, so this is the finished sandwich and it looks pretty good. I'm going to take a bite and see how it tastes. Okay, this is actually really good. It's got a great chewy texture and the flavors are spot on. It's also not dry at all, which is a common issue with chicken salad. Overall, I'd say this is another win for Quorn. Next, I'm going to be making a chicken pot pie. To do this, I'm going to chop up the fillets into small pieces and then add them to a pan on medium heat. Next, I'm going to add in a cup of frozen vegetables and a can of chicken broth. Then, I'm going to bring it to a boil and let it simmer for a few minutes. Once the chicken is cooked through, I'm going to serve it over a nice bed of mashed potatoes. Let's give this a try. Okay, so this is the finished pot pie and it looks pretty good. I'm going to take a bite and see how it tastes. Okay, wow, this is actually really good. It's got a great chewy texture and the flavors are spot on. It's also not dry at all, which is a common issue with chicken pot pie. Overall, I'd say this is another win for Quorn. Overall, I'm really impressed with Quorn. This is one of the best meat substitutes that I've tried, and I can definitely see myself using it in a pinch. Plus, it's made out of mycoprotein, which is the future of protein. So not only is this a great meat substitute, but it's also sustainable. That's a win-win in my book.